Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Talking Cryptocurrency podcast. I'm your host, Jason Rigden. On this episode of the show, we're talking to Alex Buelau, CEO and co-founder of Coinschedule. Coinschedule is a leading global portal for ICOs. They've been listing ICOs since 2016. They were one of the very first sites listing ICOs back then, and they've become the best resource for discovering new ICOs now. Their site is clean, fast, and well-designed. I use it almost every single day, so it's a real treat to talk to them. But before we get into the interview, I've got a quick message. Hi, I really hope you like this show. I put a lot of work into it. If you like it, would you please consider leaving a rating or a review on Apple Podcasts? If you're a hardcore podcast listener, you're probably sick of hearing this. Every show begs for reviews, and it gets really annoying, I know. But it does make a difference. Those reviews help people decide to subscribe. They help guests choose what shows to go on. Those ratings and reviews are a direct way you can help this show grow. So if you like the show and you want more, please help me out. Take some time and give the show a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or iTunes or whatever it's called now. Hello, and on this episode, I'm here with Alex Buelau, CEO and co-founder of Coinschedule. How are you today?
Hi, hello, Jason. Yeah, I'm good, thanks. And you?
Oh, doing great. So could you tell me just a little bit about the problem you're trying to solve?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, I just wanted to say we are in this Bitcoin industry. I've been personally in Bitcoin since 2013. I was mining Bitcoin and I was very active in the Bitcoin forums like Bitcoin Talk and so on. And I also developed some of the blockchain explorers for some of these coins. So those are the websites that people use to verify that the transaction went through and what happened to the tokens that they sent. And so one of the problems I saw back in 2016 was that there was no single place where people could go to check on ICOs, which was this new way of raising funds for companies. And at that time, there was basically very few ICOs out there. In fact, I remember that in the very early days when I launched Coinschedule, my trouble was really to find content to put on a website because there was literally nothing happening. But still, I thought that ICOs, they were a pretty good idea. And for the few ones that were out there, it was very difficult to get information. You didn't know the dates when they were starting, when they were finishing. You didn't know who the team was behind each ICO. You didn't know what the official website link was. And so those were the problems we had at that time. And that is the problem that we set off to solve when we launched Coinschedule in 2016. But the funny thing is that today the problem is exactly the opposite, because whereas in the past the problem is we didn't have enough ICOs, and so it was even difficult to find content. Now we have too many ICOs, and the problem became how to find the best content across all these hundreds of ICOs that are happening today. And furthermore, how can we find the ones that we can trust the most, right? So the problem that we are solving today is not anymore how can we get a few ICOs listed on the website. Now the problem is how can we solve the issue of adding trust to the ICO industry? And this is exactly what we're doing with Coinschedule.
And so how are you solving that problem?
Right. So we've been very busy in the last couple of years. We have developed an algorithm that we call ICO rank, and that was developed together with some scientists connected with the University of Oxford. We are based in Oxford. And what that algorithm does, it generates something that we call the trust score. So each one of those ICOs, which are basically companies trying to raise money, we will assign a score to each one of those. And the way we do that is using factual and verifiable information. And this is what really makes us different from everyone else. Because one of the things that happened in this last 2 years is, whereas we were the first ones to do anything with ICOs, in the last 2 years, so many new competitors and websites that try and do something similar appeared. And a lot of them do things in different ways, but we are the only ones that we score these hundreds of ICOs using verifiable and factual information. And so the way that the algorithm works is that we take information about the team that is running the ICO, right? Because you see that each one of these ICOs are actually companies with a few people running and working in the company. But many times we just don't know much about them. These are usually young people with not a lot of history. And in 2018, there's so many stories about fake news and issues with being able to verify that the person you're talking to is really who they say they are. So a lot of what we do is we verify the people behind each one of these ICOs. So say, for example, there's an ICO with 10 or 15 or sometimes 30 team members. We'll ask every single one of them to send a copy of their passport and a document to verify their address to us, and we will verify that through the technology of a partner that we have. And if everything checks out, then we will mark that person as being verified. So, for every ICO that we list, most of them are going to have all their team members verified. And then we also verify the information about the company behind the ICO. So if a company claims to be company XYZ based off in this country, then we will go and check with that country's register if the information really verifies. And also check against blacklists around the world and so on. And then we even go as far as our legal team performing a video-based KYC, so know your customer interview, where we have a lawyer that's going to talk to the CEO or one of the directors of the company, and we'll make sure that they are who they say they are and that they know what they're doing. They are aware of the plans for the company. And so it's just a lot of factual information checking. And then finally, we will also check for the quality of the information that each ICO provided to us. And we will check for things like the uniqueness of the text that they wrote about themselves and the length of the text and things like this, and if they have filled all the form fields. And so we will take all of that and we then condense it in a single letter that goes from A to E, where A is the best letter, so it's a very trusted company from our eyes, or a very trusted ICO in that case. And E means that we don't have enough information, or the information that we have doesn't allow us to call it as a trusted company. And so if you go to our website, www.coinschedule.com, you will see a list of all these ICOs, each one of them with a letter, and each letter represents the trust score that they have with us.
And do the ICOs pay a fee to get this trust rank or this ICO rank?
No. So the ICOs, they have to pay a fee just to get listed on the website, and it's the same fee for everyone. But then the verification of all this information with the ICOs, this is all free. It's included for every one of them. And in fact, there's no way they can pay us to get a higher score. And that's a very important point that we try to reinforce as much as we can. Because this is one thing that we see across the industry. Unfortunately, there will be some websites out there that will take payments to increase the score and so on, and we just don't do that. And the fact is, I can't even do that, even if I wanted, being the CEO of the company. Even if I went to the database and changed it, our algorithm runs every hour, and so it would just go over my changes anyway, and no other employee can make changes. So we have a very straight way of working, so that all the information, as I said, needs to be verifiable, and it needs to be factual information. And in fact, if anyone else had the same information as we had, they should come to the same conclusion about each different ICO, whether they can be trusted or not.
So it's not really a matter of opinion. You have these kind of set standards. If they don't meet those standards, then it kind of reflects in their grade.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think this is one of the things that is missing from the industry right now, is because anyone basically can create an ICO, and these people can be based anywhere in the world. It just creates this barrier between the people investing the money and the people running the project. And so what we try to do is to try to bridge that gap, being the ones that do the legwork to verify and check all the information that's been provided by the team.
So you must have some people submitting ICOs to you that you do feel, maybe you don't want to say that they're scammers, but that you don't want to list. Do you reject people sometimes?
So because the way that we operate, and we are a publishing platform, we don't reject any ICO based on opinions. What we will do, though, is we have a takedown procedure. So if we list an ICO, and in fact, I should say that if the ICO listed themselves in Coinschedule, right, because it's not even us putting information on the website, it's the ICOs that come to us, and they have a procedure where they fill a form, and it's a very big form. And they will put all this information in, and they will pay the basic fee, and then they will get listed. Now, if some user from Coinschedule, someone from the public, has a reason to suspect that the ICO is a scam or is not a legitimate project, they can email a special address. So we have a special email address that receives this email. Our legal team will do an investigation, and if they believe that there's enough evidence to suspect that ICO is really not legitimate or a scam, we will take it down. And then instead of, if people visit that ICO page on Coinschedule, instead of seeing the page as it was before, they will see just a warning saying this ICO has been taken down because of these reasons.
Okay, yeah, because I've heard of quite a few people say that they've seen their picture on ICO website saying they're an advisor, and they're like, I've never heard of these people before.
Yes, I can tell you, like every week, there's at least one person that emails me or LinkedIn or sends a LinkedIn message or somehow finds me, and they say, why is my picture on your website with this ICO? And so I have to explain it. It wasn't us that added it. It was the ICO project. But the fact is that if that happens, then we know already that's a very bad sign for that ICO. And it just goes to reinforce how important it is for people. So investors, people looking for ICOs to join, they should really do their due diligence and check websites like Coinschedule, where they can see if the person has been verified or not. Because so far, there's never been a case where someone was verified and they called us to get removed. It's always the case that it's people that are added to this project that are not verified. The project has a very low trust score, and those are the times the people that call me or message me to say to be removed from the project.
Interesting. So as far as numbers go, do you think that the number of ICOs is increasing from last year, or do you think it's kind of holding steady?
I think so. We have all sorts of statistics here, and even internal dashboards that we have. I think it's decreasing slightly compared to what it was, say, in December 2017, January 2018. That was really everything was going crazy. There's so many ICOs. I think it decreased slightly, but not too much. From the last 3 months or so, it's been keeping steady.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, it's amazing how different just a year. I suppose the blockchain moves so fast, but it feels quite a bit different this year than last year was pretty wild.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I keep seeing, I used to work in a big company before, and I used to say to people that 10 years in that company is probably like 3 months in Coinschedule because so much happens. It's so dynamic, and even keeping on top of all the news and all the different strategies and all the different ICOs and the regulations, and it varies country to country. Even that is already a big job, but it's exciting.
Yeah, the regulation will change week to week, where the rules will change.
Yeah. So it's a lot of work to keep up with everything. But as I say, it's at the same time it's very exciting because no one can get bored in this industry. There's so much happening that even if you leave for a holiday or for 2 weeks, when you come back, everything changed already.
So what were some of the biggest challenges of getting this project going?
Yeah, so I think some of them we mentioned already. So the regulatory uncertainty has always been a challenge, I think, for everyone, really, even the people running ICOs, because you have to be aware of all the different jurisdictions, and you have the SEC in the US sending mixed signals with the other US agency. You have the FCA in the UK taking a different approach. And then you have all the Asian countries, and each one is so different, and it changes so fast. And I guess a lot of people, they don't want to get in trouble. Most people that I see, and most ICOs I see, they just want to do something that goes smooth and just get on doing the product or the project they promised to do. But this is like a big challenge, and for us as well, because we're listing ICOs from all over the world, and we have visitors from all over the world, and we can't really control that. That's it's the internet, so anyone can come to our website. We have invested a lot on in lawyers and getting all the legal side in order, and so that's always been a big challenge for us. Then the fact that there's so many changes, but not just regulatory, even things like the market changes so much. There's new competitors popping up all the time. As I mentioned, we've been online since 2016. We were probably the first ICO listing site in the world, and now there's so many out there, and I think this dilutes the message a lot. When we launch new features, it's difficult to get the message across because there's so much information flying around. And so going back to what I was saying before, I think a big challenge for the industry overall is to add trust to the entire industry, right? To all the processes and all the parties involved and all the projects. And so I think going forward for the next couple of years, that's an area that we want to work a lot on.
Do you have any other plans for the future for Coinschedule?
Oh yeah, there's so many different ideas. I think I feel like we every time we have like a management meeting here, so many new ideas and things that we want to test come. But I think the gist of it is that we will want to continue investing in adding trust to the entire industry, as I mentioned, with different technologies. Now we have the Trust Core, which is great. It added trust to the ICOs, but there are other verticals or other areas in crypto still that could use something like that. And so that's what we're going to be working for the next few months.
Well, I really love the site. I use it almost every single day. Is there anything that I should have asked you that maybe I missed?
No, I think that was great. I'm looking forward to hearing the podcast, and thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Alex, for coming on the show. I love your site. Like I said, I use Coinschedule almost every single day. It's an essential resource for folks interested in ICOs. So if you haven't already discovered them and you're looking for an ICO listing site, check out coinschedule.com. You won't be disappointed. The links are in the show notes. It was also really interesting to hear how the trust score works. These folks are great. I don't know what I would do without them. You've been listening to the Talking Cryptocurrency podcast. My name is Jason Rigden. I've been your host. Thanks for listening to the show. If you liked it, would you please consider giving us a rating and a review? I look forward to talking to you again soon. Have a great day.